What's up, Ducks fans? It has been a while, but I am back for our final homestand of the season. How crazy does that sound? This seems to have gone by pretty quick, this regular season. So the Ducks begin tonight against the Calgary Flames. And after that, we only have 3 more home games, and they're all over the next week. And then after that, we just have 3 more road games, and that is the end of the regular season. So it is coming up super fast. Really quick, I want to talk about our Canada road trip. So the Ducks played the last 5 games in Canada, and we clinched a playoff berth against Toronto, as you all know by now. Unfortunately, it was in a losing effort, 6-5 to the Maple Leafs, but we still clinched a playoff berth, and considering how the season started, that is so awesome to say out loud. And on the trip, we did pretty good. I was asking for 7 or 8 points, and we got 7 points. So I would say it was a successful road trip. We're still in contention to win the Pacific Division, and you know, obviously it's us and the Kings, but the Sharks are right on our heels, and so it's a very close race. Every game in Canada was decided by 1 goal, so all 5 were very close games. And we went 3-1-1 on the trip. So, so tonight it is Calgary. The Flames are 32-38-6. The Ducks, we currently stand at 42-23-10. And tonight is a pretty fun game because the Ducks will be chasing NHL history. We currently are 1 consecutive win shy against the Flames of tying the NHL record for most home wins in the regular season consecutively against a single opponent. And the Flyers beat the Penguins 23 times in a row at home back in the 80s. And so we are going for that tonight against the Flames. We can tie that record. So I didn't want to talk about it before our last home game against the Flames. I decided today just to talk about it. I ended up talking about it last time, and it didn't make a difference. So I know it's not me if it doesn't go right. I know I didn't jinx it, but so that'll be pretty cool if we can get the win. Calgary is suffering from a lot of injuries. They are not in good shape right now, and they're definitely just checked out and trying to get some of their young guys some experience before the season's over. And so you look at that, we should beat them, but I will say I felt like we should have beaten Montreal also when we were on the road this road trip, because they were very banged up the game that we played against them, and they beat us anyway. So that's definitely not a indicator of whether or not we're going to win tonight. So I do think we're going to win. We're playing against Jonas Hiller tonight, who has not done very well against us since he left Anaheim, and he's 1-3 in his 6 appearances against us, and like I said, just has not done very well. And we have John Gibson in net tonight, so I have a feeling things are going to go well. Despite all the close games we've been playing lately, I think we're going to win tonight by 2 goals. So I'm going to predict a 4-2 Ducks victory. And I got my new orange Corey Perry jersey on tonight, so we'll see how it does. And go Ducks. And I will talk to you all after the game. Woo! What's up, Ducks fans? That game was awesome. We just spanked the Calgary Flames 8-3, and what a way to tie the NHL record for most consecutive regular season home wins against a single opponent. An 8-3 drubbing of the Flames, and they came in trying to avoid, being on the bad end of history, and they just lost 8-3. So I don't feel bad for them, but that's got to feel pretty bad, and especially Jonas Hiller. He got pulled after allowing 3 quick goals, so another terrible outing for him against his old team, us, and it was just a fun night. There was a scary moment in the second period for 11 minutes and 32 seconds because John Gibson left the game, and he was hurt, and it was like, what's Gibby's injury. Freddie came in, unfortunately allowed 3 goals in 11 minutes and 32 seconds. I feel for Freddie because I feel like we weren't playing as well during that stretch. It wasn't just him, but he allowed 3 goals on 5 shots. But then Gibson came back in the third, so he played the rest of the game. I'm glad to see that he's okay, and he saved all 21 shots that he faced. Then on the other end, I was talking about Jonas Hiller. He actually, interestingly enough, had the same stats as Freddie. In his time on the ice, he only stopped 2 of 5 shots and allowed 3 goals. So anyway, like I said, an 8-3 drubbing. It was such a fun game. It had me like Tuco in Breaking Bad. Tight, yeah! Like, I was just amped. Like, it was such a fun game. The goals just kept coming. And in the first, we got goals from Corey Perry, Jakob Silfverberg, and Brandon Peary. Then in the second, we got goals from Jamie McGinn, Shea Theodore, Nate Thompson, and then Ryan Kessler on the power play. And then in the third, to set the season high in goals scored for us in a game with 8, was Jakob Silfverberg with his second goal of the game. Man, so awesome. It was such a fun game. I was really hoping to break a franchise record, but 8 goals is still cool. We were a couple away, but it was a season high. And doing it against a divisional opponent, always so nice. Like I said, all 3 of Calgary's goals, as I mentioned, were in that last 11 minutes and 32 seconds of the second period. But also before the game, we honored Sean Horkoff for his 1,000th NHL game played, which was back against Toronto during our road trip. But the Samuelis gave him like a silver stick with his like the games he's played with his franchises throughout his career and stuff like that. And Ryan Getzlaf gave him like a trip to wine country and like a bottle of wine or something. So that was nice. It was cool. It was cool. It was cool honoring Sean Horkoff. And it was a very fun night, and I'm a little hyper, as you can tell. The Ducks are back in first place. We are locked in that tight battle, as I was talking about before the game, not just with the Kings, but really with the Sharks, too. They're a little bit out, but if we and the Kings slip up a little bit, the Sharks can, take advantage of that. So it is a close race. I want to talk a little bit about the playoffs, just because I've been looking at the standings a lot lately, and it's so funny because early in the season I was talking about how I did not want to play Chicago in the first round. I was like, oh man, if we happen to make it as a wild card, because at the time I believe it was like LA, San Jose, and Arizona in the top 3 spots in the Pacific, and I was like, we could somehow get into a potentially a wild card spot, but I was like, if we had to play Chicago in the first round, that'd be a nightmare. It's really funny because the tables have completely turned. Now we might win the division. Chicago could be a wild card team. I do not want Nashville to end up as the 3rd team in the Central and Chicago to drop down to the 4th spot, which would be the team that the winner of the Pacific plays, assuming we have less points than St. Louis or Dallas, which it seems like that's going to be the case. So I'm just really, I do not want that to happen. I'm really cheering for Chicago right now of all teams, because I do not want them to drop into the Pacific bracket, which would be, being the first wildcard team. So, what I'm hoping is that St. Louis wins the Central and Dallas and Chicago have to play in the first round. Now, that would be pretty fun. And then if we can win the Pacific, San Jose and LA have to play in the first round. So then 2 of those teams are just out by default. We could play Nashville or Minnesota, which, those are scary teams too. Don't get me wrong. But, you got to kind of, I think, was it Bruce who said, pick your poison, this close to the playoffs. So, that's kind of what I would like to see happen, but we'll see. LA could win the division. We could play the Sharks in the first round. That'd be scary. Or, Chicago could drop into 4th in the Central. We could win the division, and guess who? A rematch of last year's Western Conference Final. That would not be a fun first-round matchup. I doubt that wouldn't be ideal for them either, but that would be a crazy first-round series. So I'll just put it that way. Our next game is Friday against Vancouver. Hopefully we can keep this goal train rolling that we were riding tonight, because it was fun. Thanks for watching. I saw my first time ever I got recognized by a stranger at Honda Center for doing these videos, and that was really cool. If you're watching, thank you for watching, and it was nice meeting you. And yeah, I mean, to everyone else, I appreciate, the people who watch, and if you see me, just definitely say hello. And it was really fun, meeting somebody who recognized me from these videos. So I know I don't get a ton of views right now, but I do appreciate the people who watch. And I mean, at the end of the day, I do it because I'm a Ducks fan. I'm just doing it for fun. I'm, not monetized or anything. So it's just like, so the people who do watch and comment and talk to me, I really appreciate you all. And yeah, this is fun. So go Ducks, and I will see you all in a couple days.